Death Mage.
Radiant's pick. Ten seconds to go. 5 seconds. Reserve time.
Brewmaster.
Radiant's pick.
Welcome everybody to the Yard Red Festival, the charity event to raise money to help the Red Cross help Ukrainian refugees. I guess that's kind of the right way to put it. So if you have money to spare, be sure to purchase the in-game ticket for this tournament. It's only $1 after all, and 100% of the proceedings will go to help the charity. So it's for a good cause, guys. But we are looking at the upper bracket semi-final, Hellraisers versus VP.Polar, a best-of-3 series where VP.Pro, I think they should be the heavy favorites coming into this just because Hellraisers, well, like you can see, they're running with 3 stand-ins. Yes, they have been running with those stand-ins for some games already, but they're definitely not, or at least in theory, should not be as well oiled of a machine as VP.Polar is. But in any case, we're HeflaTV, your English coverage. I'm Coucher, and I'm joined by Grandis V. How you doing?
Yeah, doing wonderfully. Even though Hellraisers aren't considered to be the favorites, and by quite a large margin according to the Dota 2 Lounge ratio, I'm not sure if they're as unprepared for this as people would think. I don't know, I think on a good day, Hellraisers could take out the win over VP.Polar, so 80-20 feels a little bit lopsided to me, so
10 seconds
I'm
to go.
looking for some exciting games. Already, some fairly interesting things happening in the draft with the first bans. Ogre Magi being taken out on the first stage by Hellraisers. Up against any other team, I'd say that's very peculiar, but Golblack loves his Ogre, and they've been first picking it very consistently for this VP.Polar, so definitely understand it. The first picks are going to be Scarth Mage, and then into the Brewmaster and Medusa for VP.Pro, then Earthshaker is going to be the follow-up support for Hellraisers.
Yeah, just overall, the Ogre Magi is getting more and more popular to really almost any single team. I've seen it first picked so often, really, in, for example, today's Star Ladder. But Magnus will be the follow-up for VP.Polar, and are we going to see the Spirit Breaker as well? They've ran a Medusa Magnus Spirit Breaker just rather often, even, to be honest. I've seen them at least 3 or 4 times run that same exact strategy. But so far, even just having Brewmaster, Medusa, Magnus, I guess it kind of means the Brewmaster will be the offlane. Might not be the best of heroes to go into that most of the time, just because, well, especially against Earthshaker, there's no way you can get rid of the Fisher or over the Fisher yourself.
10 seconds
But
to go.
just the kind of team fight that they will have with the Primal Split, the reverse polarity, they should be able to have enough mid-game presence to just buy enough time for the Medusa to really farm up and just become a late-game beast.
Yeah, I think that's fair. In this game, I'd like to see VP.Pro throw the Brewmaster in mid up against the Templar Assassin, which would be presumably the matchup. Brewmaster with the Drunken Haze spam can be really annoying for the Templar Assassin, as she has no other way to get CS other than her damage. And although Brewmaster isn't favored in that matchup, it's still going to be better than Magnus's time in that mid lane, and then the Magnus would have presumably a better time in the offlane than the Brewmaster. Although the silence is going to be really annoying for both of them, the Magnus at least has the skewer to get away. So I'd like to see that lane switch up, although Brewmaster and Magnus, I think, in this game are more or less interchangeable in the laning stage. Hellraisers will go ahead and pick up the Spectre after their Templar Assassin, both teams investing very heavily into the late game.
I guess that's kind of the right way to go in a sense, but up against Medusa, even a Spectre as strong as he can be in the late game, just a Haunt button does a crazy amount of damage already. But Medusa, especially just backed up by the Empower, I think is a little bit scarier, but then again, Templar Assassin can definitely hold his own as well. But coming back for a second to the offlane, if Magnus goes to the offlane, yes, he can skewer over the Fisher. That's definitely good, but I think Magnus is probably a hero that relies a little bit more on getting his Blink Dagger than a Brewmaster. Both of them definitely want to get it anyway. But Magnus, with the guaranteed farm, just getting the Blink Dagger might be a little bit more beneficial for VP.Pro, but really either way should be fine for them. Yes, they do have a Venomancer at the moment. I'm hoping for the second pick of, or the second support from Virtus Pro to actually have some form of stun, because other than that, they only have their ultimates to really stop TPs or just kind of catch up to people.
Yeah, pretty much. It's going to be a Juggernaut, though, for Virtus
Wow.
Pro. That is
pick.
a very peculiar pick. I was not expecting a Juggernaut. Their pushing power is going to be pretty strong with the Venomancer and Jug, but it feels like it doesn't really mesh with the first three picks. Like the Medusa, Brewmaster, and Magnus, they have a pretty clear vision with like this huge mid-late game team fight as well as great scaling in the later portions of the game. And then these two supports in the Venomancer and Juggernaut, although they can make a lot of space, are lacking a lot of control, and that's going to be very
10
good for the
seconds to
Templar
go.
Assassin as well as the Spectre.
Well, to be fair, Venomancer and Juggernaut, they are a scary combination if you can land the Venom scale, just because the slow into the Blade Fury can be
Reserve
strong, but
time.
it's really scary if you're in a pub, because, well, then it's kind of easy to land, but so far, they really have no setup for the Venom scale even. Sometimes you see something like a Bane plus Venomancer, for example. Well, the Hellraisers, they go for a Nature's Prophet for themselves. They don't have a crazy amount of stun themselves either, really, only the Earthshaker. The silence from Scarf Mage will help out, and the slows, of course, and the psionic traps. But this Juggernaut, really, I think it surprised me just as much as you, if not more even. This pick, they can go aggressive with this, but how successful it's going to be, I have my doubts.
Definitely. Well, on the Radiant side, it is going to be Virtus
Places,
Pro, and that
everyone.
Juggernaut is going to be handled by Golblack. Our other support is going to be Hessero on the Venomancer. The Magnus is going to be played by Scandal. It looks like he's heading towards the mid lane with Illidan playing on the Medusa, and off lane, we're going to have DK Phobos playing on the Brewmaster.
As for Hellraisers, Quista on the Spectre will be heading towards the safe lane, probably supported by Divin on the Skyrock Mage, Artstyle on the Earthshaker, leaving Urbanishka on the Templar Assassin, with Dread, the last one, to take up the offlane role on the Nature's Prophet. So, Scandal, Magnus, up against Templar Assassin. Templar Assassin should have the upper hand, but Magnus, he really shouldn't die there. I mean, he's gonna have the skewer anyway. Plus, he can stay more or less on his own high ground and spam Shockwave if it really becomes that bad. But of course, Venomancer all in all is a decent enough hero against Templar Assassin, so
30
that's a
seconds
good
to
pick
showtime.
for Virtus Pro. Just to get rid of the refraction charges later on with the poison damage. Early on Venom scale doesn't damage, but the slow might be enough. Although, like I already mentioned, just really getting the slow on target, that's the hardest point for Virtus Pro if they go for the rotations.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the hardest of things for them to get off, but right now, the Nature's Prophet, if he just TPs out, he's more or less going to be completely safe, as there's no way for VP.Polar in this lane to cancel his
The game
teleport.
is on.
So, although Dread might not be getting the most out of this lane, just because of the fear of Venomous Gale into spin, he also shouldn't die.
Illusion.
He should be able to TP out just like you said. Maybe if they're really fast enough, or rather Nature Prophet is a little bit slow, or just gets caught before he gets level 2 and has the teleportation available. But that shouldn't really happen, and oh, look at this. The Treants are already coming in. Whoa, no. Yeah, I guess he wanted to try to block the pool camp, or just the big camp. Not even too sure what the Treant was meant to do, it just kind of stopped the micro midway. I was hoping for some great blocks, but not to be.
Yeah, right now, the lane up top is potentially where we'll see first blood on the Brewmaster. Right now, it's just going to be zoning coming up from the Scarth Mage with Arcane Bolt. But once a silence or a concussive shot comes through, the Brewmaster needs to be very careful. And both of these offlaners aren't going to be getting that much out of the laning phase. Brewmaster, once he gets this level 6, however, is going to have a larger impact than the Nature's Prophet with similar amounts of farm. But then again, the Nature's Prophet always has that fallback plan to go into the jungle.
It's always nice to have your or the ability for your offlaner to go into jungle, for example, a Batrider or anything of the sort. So that's a valid point you make there, and Hellraisers, they might have to take it up as well. At the moment, Dread, he just destroyed the illusions. The Treants are being rather annoying to Lil's Venomancer. Treants overall, I mean, Venomancer really not the fastest of killing them off. I mean, 44 base damage, it takes just such a long time to kill a Treant, 550 HP. And Golblack can't really do much of his own either, really. He's not going to be fast enough without the boots to catch up to Nature Prophet, who has boots. So every time he tries to go in for the right-click harass, Nature Prophet is just going to right-click in return. Dread, though, might be a little bit over. Never mind, Lil. He got tired, he went for the Poison Sting. If he had Venomous Scale there, they might have just gone for the kill, because Dread, he was taking so much damage just from the right-clicks. But Lil, having the Poison Sting instead of the Venomous Scale, man.
Yeah, he's going to have the Venomous Gale very quickly. One more creep in lane should do it. And the Juggernaut was roaming. He's going to secure the Bounty Rune. Nature's Prophet isn't able to get that deny off with the Treant. Really unfortunate for this Nature's Prophet. He doesn't have his level 2 yet either, so Dread needs to be very careful. And even if he did, he doesn't really have very much mana. So if he uses his trees, he might not have the mana for the teleport. Although for now, he's probably going to be saving that in case there's a go onto him. Right now, we're just having a very passive laning phase that's not really benefiting either side. The Medusa misses a couple of creeps under tower, which is unfortunate for Illidan, as well as his team, but that shouldn't remain the case. And right now, it's pretty much neck and neck farm with the Spectre.
And it's neck and neck in the mid lane as well. 12 and 5 on both now. Temper Assassin pulling out, or pulling ahead by 1. It's been like that actually for quite some time in the mid lane. So nice to see it's rather even, but as Temper Assassin gets more levels, should have maybe a slight upper hand, but Scandal, of course. Shockwave gets a little bit stronger as well. And Shockwave overall is one of the crazier spells, to be honest, just because it's so low on cooldown. At least when it's maxed out, plus only 90 mana cost, which doesn't even increase as you level it up. So he can spell it to oblivion, but which kind of Magnus build do you prefer, by the way? Do you prefer just Arcane Boots into Blink, or do you think now that the Blink doesn't cost any mana that the bottle will be enough?
I still think Arcane's into Blink is standard. I think it's more up to the Magnus's preference. I don't know. On the fence, I think Arcane's into Blink is probably better.
So you're on the same boat as me, man. I also just prefer the Arcane, just to make sure you're gonna have enough mana at any given point in time. Sometimes otherwise, you might have to TP while your bottle is empty or something like that and whatnot, and just ensure the spam really. But art style coming in from behind. Virtus Pro, they had an Absorber, but I don't think they saw him coming. And DK4 was gonna get slowed down. I think it's gonna be first blood. Beautiful Fisher block as well. Even Nature's Prophet TPing in. Krista, is he gonna go down in return? Nope. The Tower Dagger switches to art style. More TPs are coming though. Scandal. He's gonna skewer into the Spectre. Shockwave to get the kill. So they get that one counter, and actually it's pretty nice just because Magnus is gonna get faster level 6 there. Don't think he's gonna be able to chase down Dread just because Skewer is a pretty long cooldown. Maybe with a few shockwaves though.
He'll need one more. Let's see if Dread's going to be able to escape out of here. With bottle charges coming out from Urbanishka, it will secure Dread's escape, or maybe it won't. As the Venomous Gale actually does connect, the Meld Strikes going the way of Venomancer are going to be really annoying, but now the Templar Assassin trying to chase down this Venomancer. Arcane Bolts for the high ground. One more auto attack will secure the death on the Venomancer, tying up the kill score. 2-2 at a very early portion of this game. All it took was one little spot of aggression. Both teams react in a huge way. I think Scandal is going to be the real winner when it comes to that exchange, as he's able to secure the kill onto the enemy Spectre. And although Hellraisers do get the first blood gold, it's put into the pockets of the Skywrath Mage, which honestly isn't that great, especially if your safe lane farmer is going to die. And in the meantime, Medusa's completely free farming. With the Nature's Prophet rotating around, there's nothing that Illidan really has to fear. 28 and 21 on Illidan's Storm Rage.
Okay guys, so whoever is watching this from the VOD, the stream has completely died. I mean, it doesn't even let me connect into ESFX at all anymore. It just keeps on trying to reconnect, so we're just gonna keep it at the local recording at the moment, and I'm gonna keep on trying. Maybe it's gonna fix it sometime, but so sorry guys if you have to watch it from a VOD. Well, you're gonna not hear it live anyway, my apologies, so I guess it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Hopefully for you, you bought the in-game ticket as well. That'll also be going through supporting the Red Cross, as well as being able to watch this game live would be awesome for you. And honestly, it's only $1, so tell your friends, buy the ticket. But yeah, the VOD recording is going live, and that will be up sooner rather than later. Right now, we're going to see the 6-minute rune contested up top with the Magnus, as well as the Brewmaster. There's going to be a little bit of a scuffle as Fisher lands onto both. The trap will slow down Scandal, but Fisher doesn't block off the TA. She doesn't have a lot of mana, but with the TP support coming up from the Nature's Prophet, nice skewer RP, not going to be thrown out by Scandal. Cancels that before he falls. Probably the right choice, as that RP wouldn't have netted them a kill. And it's going to be Hellraisers coming out on top, haste rune secured by Artstyle, as well as one kill going their way.
Just excellently done, and Hellraisers, they kind of need to keep up with the aggression, and they're gonna go for it. Meld hit onto Lil. He's gonna get slowed down. Nice Fisher once again by Artstyle. So make it 4-2. Urbanishka and the Temper Assassin looking pretty good. Has been a part of 3 kills of the 4 already in this game. So excellently done. Well, of course, if your supports are rotating around, that just means that DK Phobos on the Brewmaster just has some extra free time on his hand.
Yeah, RP in mid, looking for art style. They don't get to skewer back, but he's body blocking in place, and this shockwave coming up from Magnus will secure the kill on the Earthshaker. It's going to be the first usage of RP, and it will net them a kill. So VP.Polar are going to be pretty happy with how that went. It's still anybody's game. The Templar Assassin's getting more than the Magnus, 1, 0, and 2. The Magnus ends up dying, but also gets 3 kills, so it's fairly even in that regard. The big winner in this laning phase is Illidan. He's been left completely alone.
Well, maybe it's gonna stay like that as well. We'll see. Kiilstofte, of course, has some decent enough farm as well, 35 and 14. They're gonna go for TK for Spectral Dagger. Dread TP's in. Fisher to stop the TP. And just when 4 heroes really want to kill you, there's nothing you can do without the Primal Split.
Definitely not. He was looking for a TP, he didn't know art style was there, but with the Earthshaker Fissure, it's fairly easy to cancel that. So it's a good thought for the Brewmaster, but it doesn't end up panning out. It's the Nature's Prophet that gets the last hit for that kill, which is kind of unfortunate for Hellraisers. You'd probably like to have that on the Spectre. It's still yet to be seen what Kiilstofte's build is going to be this game, whether it's going to be just into the Radiance Rush. Right now, his items, Phase Boots, Poor Man's Shield, could go in pretty much any direction.
Dire's bottom tower.
Well, we will see indeed. It's just, I guess sometimes you go into Urn of Shadows and Spectres. It seems to be the more common build nowadays. Just get the Urn, be rather aggressive early on, and just get the kills with the Haunts. Have the Urn charges to go for additional kills, but Scandal gets the Bounty Rune. He's pretty close to his Blink, to be honest, this early on. Only 600 gold missing for it. If he gets like one more kill and just a couple of last hits, he's gonna have it 10 minutes in.
Yeah, it is going to be the Urn for the Spectre. I'm not a huge fan of this choice coming up from the Spectre. It's 900 gold that's not going towards one of your bigger items, and you really have to get the kills. It puts a lot of pressure on your Spectre to be playing aggressively where you really don't have to. Magnus in mid is going to be haunted upon after the aggression put out by the Templar Assassin. They're not going to reality in, and Scandal will survive. That's actually a pretty crucial survival by the Magnus, as he's pooling a lot of gold towards that Blink Dagger. In fact, is at the top of the net worth chart after getting 3 last hits on those kills.
Just such a crucial escape, like you mentioned. He was pulling up so much gold already, and they almost got it. The Fissure, first of all, stopped the skewer. Then there was the silence from the Ancient Seal, but Ancient Seal is only level 1. Had it been even 1 second longer, I think it would have been enough to get the kill. But all the while, of course, Illidan, like you said a couple of minutes ago, he just keeps on free farming. Doesn't have enough pressure by himself to go for the tower yet. Actually has his Ring of Aquila even disabled just to make sure he can get some form of a resemblance of map lane control. But Medusa free farming is really never a good thing. He's not going to be that scary this early on anyway, but getting off the good start definitely helps.
Yeah, Blade of Alacrity being sent to himself. He also goes for a Quelling Blade. It's a very peculiar item choice that not a lot of ranged carries decide to go for. I think it's worthwhile, especially when you're dealing with the Nature's Prophet Sprout. You'll always have a way to get out of that, and then also it's going to accelerate your jungle farm by just a little bit. Although it's not super significant, it's also not a very large gold investment for the Medusa.
We will see if or what item he wants to go for. I guess Lincoln's.
I think it's going to be Yasha and Amantissa. Yeah,
it would make sense.
Alacrity. Yeah.
Just because Lincoln's, well, it doesn't do anything like Ancient Seal, woohoo, pretty much that's about it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, even when there's good things to block with the Lincoln Sphere, it's kind of nice to have a new Medusa, but honestly, it just falls in comparison to the likes of Mantis style. Illidan also ferries himself out of Salve to make sure he's able to sustain through the jungle farm. As you mentioned, pretty much it's only the Ancient Seal that's going to be blocked by it, so I think just going for the Manta and timing the dodge so that you're able to get off your Stone Gaze is probably the better way of dealing with that silence.
So 3 to 5, only 10 minutes in, almost 11. Looking at the graphs, about a 1k net per fleet for VP.Polar, 1.5 in XP as well. So they're slightly ahead. Late game wise, I'm not even too sure if they have it. Even if they do have an advantage, it's definitely not a clear one. Just Spectre plus a Nature's Prophet supported by Templar Assassin. Who would you favor if it really comes down to late game?
I would say Virtus.Pro, because I think they have the better teamfight ultimates. Like the Brewmaster as well as the Magnus, both with Blink Daggers, I think would outshine an Earthshaker, especially if their positioning is on point, which, in all honesty, it should. And then they also have a Juggernaut that's going to be scaling. It's not just a single Medusa that's going to be putting out quite a bit of damage. And even though Goblak's not going to be doing that much, I think it's going to be enough up in top. Fisher's not going to be thrown out. Eventually it will. Blocks him on the wrong side, but that doesn't really matter. The Spectre's able to run straight over the top of that. The RP's now going to land on the 4. Skewer back into the... Excuse me. Blade Fury, and they're going to be able to mop up all of these kills after a beautiful RP from Scandal, showing off the power of that Blink Dagger.
Holy crap, I really think this is the best ever Blink Dagger revelation I have seen, like ever, really.
Yeah. It really was. Like, that combo was beautiful, although I kind of lost my words in the middle of it. It was amazing. You get 4 heroes back under the tower, you skewer them, get the shockwave damage, and then they all get grinded up in the blender that is Goldblack. It was pretty ridiculous. Usually you don't see that sort of stuff until really later on in the game. But just like that, VP.Polar, I think they have a pretty commanding lead in this game after just one super huge team fight.
Yeah, not only that, DK Phobos, he's only 200 all the way all of a sudden from his own Blink Dagger on the Brewmaster, who was struggling quite hard on the offlane, just from the aggression at some times. And Scandal, he wants to go in, Blink Skewer, it's gonna connect on Kvista. Can he Spectral Dagger out in time? Oh no, he cannot. Nice Fisher comes out, the slow from Concussive Shot onto everybody. His whole Mystic Flare, DK Phobos, he's actually gonna go down. Really nicely done by Divin with art style. But it's just Brewmaster for Spectre, I think. Oh, Echo Slam, they might get Scandal. If they do, it's a huge kill. Sprout up, Arcane Bolts. They're actually gonna clean up Scandal as well, so they get the counters. VP.Polar just a little bit too slow on the disengage.
Yeah, it's still not that bad for Virtus.Pro because they kill off the Spectre, and after going into this urn, the Spectre's item progression is going to be pretty much completely stopped. Although it's a big gold swing going into Hellraisers, most of that gold's in their supports, and although that's nice to have, like Arcane Boots blink on your Earthshaker is always wonderful, it's not going to come out as the fastest timing, and Scarlet Mage, although he scales well theoretically with items, isn't going to be building anything big with that. In mid, we have a hasted Templar Assassin blowing up the poor Juggernaut, especially with the Nature's Prophet ultimate. However, won't be able to get the Venomancer kill. Urbanishka being slowed very heavily down by these Surf Wards and DK Phobos, but this Blink Dagger potentially look for the dive. No, not going to go for it. He didn't have the split, so it wouldn't have been as easy a kill. But I think he could have gotten away with that. With only 500 HP or so on the Templar Assassin, 1 Blink Clap crit, and then into 1 more auto attack. Probably would have secured the kill on the Templar Assassin, although he didn't know if there was any backup, and he might have given away his own life for it. So he's going to decide against it and go for the more conservative play.
I guess just Refraction and Meld, a little bit too scary to go into. If the Thunderclap goes into Meld, suddenly you have 0 kill potential under the tower like that. TA was pretty low on mana, of course. Bottom lane there, they're gonna catch Kvista again. The Haunt, he actually gets out to safety. He even gets the kill onto the Venomancer, was trying to clear off stacks. Are you kidding me? Holy crap, that escape.
And now back to base, clearing TP away from the Spectre. Perfect. Like, you can't ask for much more. Haunt, although it can be used defensively, is usually very hard to pull off, but the Spectre makes it work because the Venomancer is very aggressively jungling. Still going to be maintaining this with a couple of wards that are still there, but in mid, Split going to be spent as they throw the bolt in the way of the Scarlet Mage. Blink Skewer going to bring him back into the rest of the heroes, and they'll find a kill onto the support. Spectre surviving there is huge for Hellraisers. They need the Spectre to get a lot of farm, and right now that's just not happening. Right now the Spectre is farming less than the Nature's Prophet, 900 or so of that gold is put into the urn. Nature's Prophet's impact is going to be a lot greater than the Spectre's for quite a decent portion of this game. It looks like we're probably going to be seeing a Relic Rush coming out from the Spectre, which I think is an okay choice. But honestly, this urn hasn't done anything. It's effectively a Bracer, and I don't know. It just seems like an unnecessary deviation from those bigger items that you really want your Spectre to be having.
It's just, sometimes teams go for the urn when they want to team fight heavily. At the moment, it's just that Hellraisers, they haven't found the openings. First of all, VP.Polar, they just have the better team fight ultimates really, plus they have the blink initiation. So Hellraisers, I tend to agree with you that maybe they could have gone, oh, go black mid lane. He activates the magic wand, he stays alive somehow for the time being. Spins his way through, nice Venom skill, catches 2 by Lil as well. But there's the Echo Slam from Arstyle to secure the kill in the meantime. Oh, never mind. Blink. Thunderclap, Arstyle gonna lose his life in return. Urbanishka doesn't want to run into the Plague Ward. Scandal comes in. Oh, he's gonna get skewered into the Plague Wards, but no detection.
Yeah, it's going to keep the Templar Assassin alive. That Earthshaker Echo Slam, usually not a spell that gets so much traction this early on, but that was a full creep wave plus 2 zeros. That ripped through the 2 supports.
Well, of course, look at Illidan. He doesn't care at all about the struggles of the mortals. He just keeps on farming on the safe lane. Has the Manta still finished, flying out now as well. Keeps on applying pressure onto this tier 2, which is down to half HP now. And he's level 13 as well. He's leveling up pretty fast. Has to be careful for the courier though.
Right now, they're going to drop the Mystic Flare onto him, but he has enough mana in order to negate a little bit of this damage, but now completely tapped out with Spectre running after him, as well as a TP in from Dread. They're going to put an end to Medusa's happy days, as that was a complete free farm Medusa. She does buy the Manta Style before she dies, so it doesn't lose that much gold, but it's still a very high priority kill for Hellraisers, especially when you look at the experience that all of them gained.
It most certainly is. Spectre getting a little bit closer to the Radiant. Art style with that, he got his Blink Dagger as well, which is huge. 17 minutes in for an Earthshake to have Blink. And oh, Scandal. Blink reverse polarity skewer. Krista, is he gonna go down? Spectral Dagger. Oh, the Omni Slash, not enough, Goblek. He's just gonna get outrun by the Face Boots. He's gonna get taken out by the pure physical damage. Shockwave, still not enough. Yearn got him back high enough, so horrible change for Virtus.Pro Plus. They might even still lose Roshan as well.
Yeah, I think they will. This is Templar Assassin with maxed out meld. In fact, maxed out everything except for traps. And they'll be able to find it very easily. Without RP, there's not much that Hellraisers actually have to fear. Nature's Prophet dropping low inside the pit doesn't actually care much about it. Templar Assassin now with an Aegis. Urbanisha is able to play incredibly aggressively. Although not going for the Blink Dagger, with the phased drums can run down heroes very effectively. And now it's going to have a completed Desolator after 1 or 2 more creeps.
That's going to be so huge. The Desolator, it's just going to melt through the support heroes. I mean, Juggernaut, even Venomancer, they have no chance at all. And to be honest, I really like that trade is going for the Necrobook on the Nature Prophet. Nowadays, it's not a common build anymore, but up against Medusa, having the Necrobook, getting the mana drain, it's going to help out so much and just boost up the damage, the physical one with the Desolator as well. Oh god, they're going to hurt so much. I mean, even Art Style with the Enchant Totem. So, I really like what Hellraisers have been doing so far. Early on Virtus.Pro.Polar, they kind of showed some dominance with their ultimates, but haven't been able to do so for a couple minutes anymore.
Right now, it's kind of just turtle time for them. They're going to have to wait until this Medusa gets another item or two before Illidan Storm Rage really comes online. The Manta Style is nice, but that's not enough to really carry the game through. Spectre is also going to be getting pretty close to the Radiance. It's not going to be a very fast Radiance, but it's still going to be at a serviceable time for them. And if you're going to get a late Radiance, as far as heroes are concerned, Spectre's probably one of the better ones to do so. Is the amount of damage that you're able to put into especially support heroes with that haunt is pretty ridiculous. Right now, it's Hellraisers with the momentum in this game. Despite the Medusa being at the top of the net worth chart, it's not that scary right now. There's always that looming threat that they're going to have to deal with the Medusa eventually, but that time's not now.
Well, looking at the graphs again, it's still a lead for Virtus.Pro, although what used to be a 4k net worth lead is just shriveled down to only 1k. XP actually in Hellraiser's favors by about 2. But there's a smoke Hellraisers. They are waiting for somebody to come and Scandal together with Goblek and Illidan. They're gonna oblige. But there's the reverse priority onto Quista alone. Will it be enough to bring him down? Yes, it will. But the Blink, Echo Slam, Mystic Flare to follow. They're gonna get the one counter Illidan. Pops his Manta Style, even with the Stone Gaze. Spectre, he buys back, comes back in. Gonna go for Goblek first. Dread, nice sprout onto Illidan, but he had a Quelling Blade. Lil Venom Scale catches too, so I think they're gonna make it out. But a 2-for-1 exchange. Spectre, yes, he bought back, but I think they're gonna get even more.
They'll at least find the Venomancer, and now with the Templar Assassin going to open up on the Illidan on the north of this fight. She's trying to TP out. Will she be able to make it? She will. Barely. Illidan Storm Rage makes it back to the base. Ugh. Yeah, had there been a Meld Strike from the Templar Assassin, that would have been a kill. Very unfortunate for Urbanishka. I'm not sure if that was on cooldown or what the story is, but they'll at the very least be able to get this tier 1 tower and probably transition into even more. Despite buying back, the Spectre now has a little bit more gold than what she started out with before the buyback. A lot of that has to do with that big Echo Slam coming up from the Earthshaker. It didn't catch that many heroes. It was only like a 2-man Echo Slam as far as the stun is concerned, but it catches out, again, a full creep wave, and that obliterated the poor Juggernaut and Venomancer. It's, I don't know, pretty scary. Hellraisers, it's one of the powers of the Spectre, being able to instantly jump into the fight after buying back, and they're utilizing it to good effect. Right now, the Templar Assassin chasing down Illidan won't be able to get that kill. Yeah. That was a little bit ballsy, but then again, you have an Aegis on your Templar Assassin, you can play that aggressively.
I mean, I think from that fight, the most important part was still that Illidan, he did escape. If he had gone down, just lots of XP and gold given away once again unnecessarily. Spectre still doesn't have his Radiance, so Virtus.Pro.Polar, they have a pretty nice timing window still to keep on farming on Medusa. Number 1 in net worth has been so for, well, almost the entire game, just because of the free farm he's given. Scandal hasn't had a big reverse polarity in quite some time. Has gone for, I think, like almost 2 or 3 one-man reverse polarities in a row onto Quista, just to try to get the kill on the Spectre. The idea is nice, but if you like the follow-up, it's just not going to be enough, just because suddenly you lost your biggest teamfight ultimate, and Brewmaster, he really hasn't been present either with the Primal Split.
Dire's top towers getting
which is
down.
unfortunate for them. I think
No breaking
the
through
one-man
the
RPs
dire
are fine
structures
from
for
the
now.
Magnus. There was really only one that completely messed up, which is around the Roshan pit,
The
where the
Dire
Spectre is
might
able
wanna
to
mine
escape,
the
and then they
top
lose the
towers.
fight fairly convincingly after that. I think the bigger issue is that DK Phobos just hasn't been there. 2, 3, and 5 on the Brewmaster.
Radiant's
Right now,
mid-tower's
usually you're
coming
looking at a
apart.
Brewmaster that completely controls the game. As a fissure into Spectral Dagger
Dire's
from the
lost
Spectre,
the top tower.
destroys the Venomancer as he looks towards this room,
Radiant's
which
mid-tower's
was
in
completely spotted
trouble.
out by the enemy team. Just kind of gets cut out on an island away from the rest of his teammates.
I have to say though that art style, to be honest, he's played such a great game on Euroshaker. Been a part of 12 kills, and oh man, Dread! There's the Primal Split finally coming out. Necrobook level 3, not gonna help you at all, to be honest. Maybe try for the TP out, silence onto Go Black as well. Now there's Urban Nishka, holy crap. Juggernaut, he just got decimated completely. Dread, still alive, he's rather tanky. Fire Panda finally goes down, nice sprout from Dread, going for the TP out. He's gonna succeed as well. TK Phobos now is in a lot of trouble, no blink out. He's gonna get damaged immediately, all the time, meld hit. Dread wants to come back, but not even necessary.
Yeah,
Just Juggernaut, man, he evaporated.
Definitely. On the backlines of that fight, Medusa drops her Stone Gaze, and I'm not sure if that actually accomplished anything. I heard the sound, but it was so far away from the actual action. I'm not sure if anybody was actually chasing down Illidan. Illidan makes it back home safely, but I don't know, these ultimates coming up from VP.Polar, they're either just not used or don't really have the impact that I would think that they would. Right now, Hellraisers do have the gold for the Spectre Relic. It's a fairly late one at 23 minutes in, but it's still going to be a Radiance, and she did opt for several intermediate items with the Urn, Magic Wand, as well as Poor Man's Shield and Phase
Dire's
Boots.
mid-tower could use a little
So
help.
it's understandable why this relic is so delayed, but honestly, their Spectre has a decent amount of catching up to do. If you want to be combating up against Illidan, you'd like to have, on top of this, maybe like a Mantis style at this point, maybe like Diffusal Blade and Heart in the near future as well. Just to...
Oh. Illidan in trouble again, the meld hit connects, he still has the mana shield. Dread, he's gonna TP in with the Necrobook, which is still on cooldown, but the Mystic Flare, Medusa completely out of mana. Scandal gets the double RP, but it's gonna get silenced up, no skewer back, there's the Necrobook. God damn those meld hits, it's ridiculous. Lil pops his ultimate, only catches art style though. DK Phobos blinks him, but there's no ultimate for him. Is he gonna lose his life as well? Urbanishka finally gonna come in, the meld hit, DK Phobos down to half HP. Gonna get blocked up as well, nice. Go Black ultimate. Gets the Omni slash Dread, TP's out, so Urbanishka actually got kited around, didn't get the Brewmaster, but still a 2-for-1, 2 cores for only a measly support.
Yeah. Right now, the Earthshaker barely makes it back to base. On 1 HP, just being able to wait out that Poison Seek damage. And, well, Spectre Haunt looking for a little bit more in this fight, and it looks like they're going to find themselves a DK Phobos, potentially a Gold Black. Doesn't actually reality in, although the Templar Assassin...
Oh, he
was
went for
there.
Lil in the base, man!
Oh! I wish I was
Oh,
watching that.
the skewer.
Canceled. Yeah, by the skewer, Radiance purchased inside the base, and Gold Black and Scandal now find themselves a really juicy target for Spectre. Spectre, I was thinking she was going for the tier 2 tower, but ends up deciding to go for a very, very aggressive play. Kills off the Brewmaster, luckily enough for her. But still, that's probably not worth it for Hellraisers. Going for very flashy plays.
That was just ridiculous.
Radiant's mid-tower's
Oh man, he underestimated like Virtus Pro's power to stop his TP out. I don't know. That was way too ballsy, but he has his Radiance finished, so I guess all is fine. The 3 core of them are farming up. The Assassin, does he have his BKB? No, straight off Monkey King bar for him. Man, Urbanishka, he's going for the man mode build. I guess he doesn't really need a BKB all that bad anyway, to be honest. Just because reverse polarity will stop you through it anyway. Venomous Scale can slow you down and whatnot, Stone Gaze as well. But Hellraisers 23 to 13. They are now almost 6,000 net worth ahead. XP used to be 10,000, now dropped a little bit with Spectre just diving like that, but they are in command of this game and they're gonna get Lil again, poor Venomancer.
No meld strike necessary. I was interested to see how fast he'd explode if the meld actually connected. But still, Veno is going to be casually foreshotted by the TA as well as the Earthshaker. Not much you can do about that. Urbanishka, I would have loved to see a Blink Dagger on this Templar Assassin the BKB, although it's a nice item to have, I'm not sure if it's necessary this game. The Templar Assassin just isn't controlled at all inside these team fights, which is actually really weird to see. Fissure jump in onto Goldblack. They even commit the Echo Slam, Meld Strike to steal the kill. Not sure if that Echo is actually necessary, but it does stop the Juggernaut from getting off his ulti. There's going to be an RP on a T-Skewer back as well. Brewmaster split. They're going to be able to focus down Art Style at the very least. They are going to turn them into stone. It's now Urbanishka is invis. They don't have another way to stop that as the Courier's going to be dropped. That's a Demon Edge that Urbanishka wanted. Venomous Gale going to be dropped onto the poor Templar Assassin as well, with the gem being purchased by the Venomancer. Slowly but surely, Urbanishka is going to be burned down. Potentially. Let's see. Is there any way to turn this with the Spectre jumping into the hunt? Maybe they can. Meld Strike going very hard onto Scandal. No refraction available. It's going to be the end of the Templar Assassin's life. Dread TPing out. He should be able to make it out alive as there's no way for that to cancel it. It's going to be a 3-for-2 trade after all is said and done. Just a very weird way to start an engagement.
It most certainly was, but Illidan, the killing him getting the last hit for Templar Assassin was pretty huge. That's 600 plus gold for him already. So Medusa got 1.3k from that fight, and before that fight he just finished the Eye of Skadi almost, but suddenly another 2.7k gold. So if Hellraisers, if they aren't careful, Medusa is a hero that can just pretty much 1v5 a team. It's not going to be as easy, of course, especially if Nature's Prophet finishes up his Hex, which is most likely going for with the Ultimate Orb. But they're not looking that bad. I mean, Empower will also help Medusa do even crazier amounts of damage. Getting the Courier kill, even more gold for them. But Templar Assassin, if he actually gets the Monkey King bar onto his person, his ability to just kill really anybody apart from the Medusa with a couple of right clicks is so strong. But actually, having said that, Juggernaut, he might go down now. He's going to sprout it up. Mystic Flare. I just wanted to say that Juggernaut, he's a little bit tankier now going for the Aghanim's, but he just got melted anyway.
Not really. The Juggernaut at this point, he can't survive. The magical nukes coming out from Hellraisers, mostly from their supports, and a little bit from the Nature's Wrath from Dread. But still, their damage is pretty ridiculous. And the Medusa, I don't think she's going to be immune from that. It's going to be a Maelstrom for Illidan. Going to be bolstering his damage as well a little bit. I'm okay with this choice, although usually you'd like to see a Butterfly with the Monkey King bar completed on the Templar Assassin. You can't really do that. With all of the minus armor that Hellraisers have, they're going to take a very fast, uncontested Roshan. As VP.Polar aren't anywhere close.
So Hellraisers, with these ages, do think that they're going to feel confident enough to just maybe even go high ground. Of course, they still have 2 tier 2s to go for, so maybe go for the safer route, get the outer towers, and then think about high ground. But I mean, they have 3 cores. All of them can be extremely strong in the late game, of course. Do they feel confident enough to just take this to the late game, or should they kind of force the issue?
I'm not sure. Right now, I think they're going to be comfortable taking it late because the Medusa is the only one getting farm on VP.Polar, and the rest of their heroes don't scale that well. It would be nice to have more items on the Juggernaut, but he's just not getting them. 2, 7, and 8 on the Jug. Every fight, when he tries to commit, he's just blown up, spin or not, and he will be able to spin away from mid to keep himself alive under a tower. But right now, Goldblack's time to shine is pretty much over. And so I think just getting more items on your Spectre is going to be a bigger issue for them, as the Spec just has the Radiance right now. Although sitting on a lot of gold, hasn't turned that into an effective item.
Oh well, 30 minutes in, maybe it's gonna have some just difference. We'll see. As Illidan is gonna run into Art Style, just a Fissure to disengage. Unfortunately, Hellraisers didn't have any core back up there to get the kill like that. Gem is there on TK Phobos as well, so they're gonna claim some map control. Monkey King bar finally finished. Or, well, he had it finished previously, but the Courier was just dead. So Urbanishka, he's hitting for, with the Refraction, about 400 damage almost, 360 something. And even without, almost 300 damage, so this guy is a killing machine. Spectre, of course, will help out as well. Going for that heart now. So Spectre won't deal a crazy amount of damage for some time to come still. But they don't really need the extra anyway.
Yeah, right now, everybody on VP.Polar, with the exception being the Medusa, is going to be put into minus armor. Coming out from Urbanishka. The Venomancer is close to being able to break even, but still, that's almost going to be pure damage on everybody, if not more, when you get those meld strikes off. She's going to be, like, 1-2-shotting the Venomancer, and even the Magnus and Brewmaster aren't going to be too healthy, especially if there's a good Fissure or an Echo Slam coming out from the Earthshaker. Urbanishka is going to be able to clean house. There's smoke coming out from Hellraisers, potentially looking for this pick off on mid. And poor Golblack, he's gonna die. Almost for sure. They don't have Blink on their Templar Assassin. Deny comes out from Urbanishka looking for that spill damage. Won't be able to find it. Oh my goodness. That was just one spill of the side blades, dropping Golblack to ridiculously low amounts of HP. Brewmaster Split comes out, and Urbanishka is going to be forced to back off.
Dire's top tower.
Yeah.
Just the power of TA, man, with the damage. And
Yeah.
look at the Brewlings as well. No chance. Haunt in. They want to go for Golblack. Healing Ward is still there. But never mind, Kiilstofte. They get the kill with Artstyle onto Lil first. Golblack might be next to Fisher. Not there in time. Doesn't get the body block either. Force Staff out Stone Gaze, but it's only for Artstyle. It's only a support.
Going for broke.
It's still a kill for your Medusa, who's sitting on a casual 4,000 gold. It's a 1-for-1 support trade, a lot of ultimates being spent on either side. I think that's more or less a wash, if not VP.Polar coming out slightly ahead. Since the state of this game isn't favoring them, it's going to be 500 gold, now being gained by the Medusa. Scythe of Ice on your Nature's Prophet's a big boost of power for Hellraisers, but that was a fairly sloppy engagement coming up from both sides. Neither of them really finding any clean way to jump in. This Templar Assassin, I would have liked to see a blink instead of these drums. The Monkey King Bar this game is going to be really nice for Urbanishka, and it's pretty much going to negate the need for BKB for him. But still, VP.Polar, after that fight, are able to get a couple of big key items. Golblack now with his Aghanim Scepter, giving him the more bounces for his Omni Slash, and then the Mjolnir on the Medusa. This Medusa is going to be putting out a lot of damage as well. With the Empower, almost 300 a hit. Illidan
just gonna chase down Urbanishka at the moment with the Eye of Skadi. It's a pretty nice way to kite people around. But in the meantime, dive in. They get the kill onto Lil. Just the supports really haven't been having a good time. 11 deaths on the Venomancer. Holy crap, but Juggernaut, like you said, has the Aghanim Scepter, so that's a pretty key pickup here. Not too sure if it's gonna have the desired impact anyway, since it's still a level 2 ultimate. But it's better than nothing, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose so. Right now, it's still Hellraiser is looking pretty strong in this game. A decent advantage their way, but they're still facing down the barrel of a huge Medusa that's going to be thinking about the next major item, and their Spectre just doesn't have anything to compete with that. Right now, it's a Radiance Heart for Spectre. 33 minutes in, that's very lackluster, especially when you go for the Radiance first. A lot of that's due to the amount of focus that VP.Polar put onto the Spectre with their ultimates early on. Despite missing a couple of kills, 8, 5, and 10 on your Spectre isn't the greatest and has delayed Quista's farm by quite a bit.
So, Medusa, he's still just ridiculously farmed. He has 5k net worth above the highest on Hellraisers. Somehow, I don't know how, to be honest, considering how dominant Hellraisers have been. And to me, it feels like it's been at least a couple of minutes since we've last seen a reverse polarity, or at least one that has done anything, or Scandal just hasn't found the openings, and Hellraisers really aren't giving any either. Although, it's a little bit surprising that with the ages that Hellraisers had, that they were really unable to take any objectives at all.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest issue for me. Right now, the Aegis, I don't think it was actually used by Urbanishka. It has expired since then. 3,000 gold, the Omni Slash is going to be committed to the Earthshaker. They get the Earthshaker kill. Yeah, and still Scandal smoked up. Maybe they're going to be able to find RP. They're going to solo it onto Urbanishka. He still has the Refraction. They're going to eat through it. The Split's also going to be committed. TP attempt going to be denied by the Rock, and they're going to be able to get a very high priority kill onto this TA.
That's definitely, at least TA has buyback, of course, but they're gonna lose a tier 2 at the very least here. Hellraisers, they're trying to split push with Kiilstofte as well as Dread. Nature Prophet popped a Necrobook already, which means that they kind of have to go all out push, because if they want to go for the defense now, they will have the buybacks, but no Necrobook makes it just that much harder to kill Medusa.
Right now, buyback for the Earthshaker, but they're still holding on to the Templar Assassin buyback. Nature's Prophet and Spectre are pushing out top, and both of them have tools to get into this fight. Not going to be used. In the meantime, Quista is going to reality into this fight. Focus down Scandal. Scandal is going to fall. The Medusa is nowhere to be found, as now they focus down the Venomancer. Echo Sun in the backline. Not really going to do much. Buybacks galore coming out from Hellraisers. Now that they've focused down DK Phobos, trying to chase him down, but here's the Medusa on the backline of the fight. Illidan's just going to TP out straight up. Yeah, very peculiar engagement. The fight recap is going to show us how many buybacks were spent. Scarth Mage as well as the Templar Assassin, both were forced to spend it. The experience swing is fairly even on either side. Medusa getting the greater end of that exchange. I don't know, a very weird engagement. Hellraisers
top towers taking hits.
It's probably VP.Polar getting the upper hand in the end, just because even Earthshaker had to buy back just before the fight. Dread gonna get slowed down. There's the Omni Slash. He's gonna get wrecked. DK Phobos got hexed, but made little difference. And Red, he actually escaped the last fight by TPing away from Medusa with like 100 HP or something, so it's karmic payback. As Spectre finishes up a Diffusal Blade, gonna help out a little bit against Medusa, but since he doesn't have any illusions to work with, the feedback won't be as important. But it's gonna help out a little bit, even boost up the Haunt illusions. So far though, VP.Polar, they're hanging on. They even got the upper hand. They somehow got to a position to actually force buybacks. So that just goes to show that they're not out of the game by any means yet.
No, but there is a lot of pressure on VP.Polar right now. They have 7,000 gold on Illidan, and at this point, the Medusa's not getting very much stronger. Magnus is going to be forced to steer away down in bottom after eating like 1 or 2 shots coming out from Urbanishka, already dropping the Magnus down. They're less than 400 HP. But yeah, I think at this point you start considering going for the Divine Rapier on Illidan. Maybe get one more defensive item before that, although I'm not sure what that item would be. As Medusa pretty much has anything that she'd want. This Medusa just needs to be able to 1v5 the enemy team. Maybe you don't get that yet, but sooner rather than later, Illidan is going to be forced to make that decision. Right now, it's just going to be the Butterfly as well as Boots of Travel, and although it isn't going to be effective up against the Templar Assassins, down to bottom, the fight breaks out. DK Phobos focused down inside the Mystic Flare with the Silence as well. The Omni Slash just go through, but a lot of units. RP going to land on the 3, but there's no Medusa now joining in the backline. Will be Stone Gaze off, Echo Sun committed, but only lands onto a Gold Black that's spinning. Push just being focused down. The damage coming in from Illidan is enough. Urbanishka trying to get the kill on Gold Black before he falls. He will be able to get that, but then it's going to be an Ultra Kill for Illidan, looking to make it a Rampage. TP attempt from Dive-In is going to deny Illidan his right to completely kill the enemy team, but now Illidan has enough gold to completely finish up that Butterfly. I'll finish my point on the Butterfly right now after that huge fight breaks out down in bottom. It's not going to help him up against the TA, but the Spectre, if she can't hit Illidan, that Diffusal Blade's going to do nothing. There's your completed Butterfly.
That reverse polarity, just skewering into reverse polarity, not even using a blink, was so damn great for them. Juggernauts, Omnislash did absolutely nothing because he popped it so early when the creeps were there, the Necro units. But Medusa, he just barely made it there in time. Had it been like 2 seconds later, I think Hellraisers could have disengaged, maybe just get away without too many casualties, but excellent stuff. And oh, Illidan snipes the courier as well. Oh god. This guy is so farmed.
Definitely. They need to end this game sooner rather than later, VP.Polar, but I think they're going to be able to do so, especially if they get this Roshan. This is going to be 2 lives onto Illidan. He's going to have to get rid of his Aquila, but at this point, Medusa's effectively 6-slotted, or getting very close to that. With the Empower onto Medusa, that's going to be giving a balanced about plus 100 damage to Illidan, so those last fights were just so easy for them if they're able to get them pumped up with the RP. Illidan now with the Aegis Cheese going the way of Scandal.
Do you think Illidan might even just want to consider a BKB at some point? I mean, he's dealing already a pretty crazy amount of damage. Just to prevent from getting hexed or anything along the lines, Earthshaker, Stunlock or something, or doesn't he really need it anyway?
I don't think so. If you want to avoid the Hex, I think you do go Lincoln Sphere. Like, because there's not really anything that they have to pop it, like a a targeted Sprout, Spectral Dagger as well if you target it on the hero, and the Skywrath Mage Silence. Medusa should be able to avoid any surprise Hex initiations from Nature's Prophet, and honestly, I don't think Illidan really needs it to survive in these fights. Yeah.
So I guess something like a Daedalus wouldn't be too bad, maybe?
Yeah, I'd like to see just more damage. MKB, I think would be the best, since Templar Assassin and Spectre eventually will consider going for a Butterfly. But even so, like, anything that makes Medusa hit harder. The Daedalus is nice, but I think just the pure damage upgrade from the Monkey will be a little bit better. Still, Illidan going to put a lot of hurt in his tier 3 tower. With the Aegis, doesn't have a fear in the world, is going to be having 2 lives to work with, Mjolnir charge onto himself, and is just going to take this tier 3 tower with very little contention. There is going to be Haunt looking for kills on the backlines, but they're not going to be able to find them. Illidan's dropped to like half health, but honestly that doesn't matter. Now Stone Gaze is going to be committed and forcing Urbanishka back. The Magnus is going to be forced to pop the cheese, gets the RP onto 2, both Quista as well as Dread, skewer back into Illidan. Illidan's going to lose his life, but the Omni Slash ends up killing the Spectre. And now they do have the second life for Medusa to work with. Buyback from Nature's Prophet, and Echo Sun lands Gold Black as well as all the Brewmaster minions, but Artstyle is just ripped apart by Illidan. Illidan's going wild, looking for Dive-In now inside the base. Ghost is going to keep him alive as Urbanishka kills off the Brewmaster inside the split, but it doesn't matter. Triple kill beyond godlike for Illidan. This is going to be the first lane of Brax going in favor of VP.Polar with no buyback on TA as well as Spectre. This might as well be game.
Radiant's top
It most likely will as well. Just excellently done, Medusa first. He did die once, but that's exactly what Aegis was there for. Nice cheese usage from Scandal as well. Baiting out so much onto himself, then popping the cheese reverse priority to turn it around. Skewering everybody even closer to Medusa as well. And oh, can they get red? Nothing to stop the TP though.
on to the Radiant.
Oh god, if they had killed him again, a dieback would have been just game over, I think.
What? Okay, so in the meantime, Nature's Prophet was able to get some rad action up in the top. His buyback wasn't to get back in the fight, it was to take ranged barracks in the top lane. And I don't think VP.Polar know that Templar Assassin Spectre didn't have buyback, so they don't end up going for another lane. That ends up working a lot better for Hellraisers than I thought it would. They're still down a melee barracks as far as all is concerned, but still, I thought that would be pretty much it. They do have 9,000 gold on Medusa, however, and so whatever Illidan's item choice is going to be, I don't think it actually matters, as long as it's going to make him hit harder. Honestly, I'd love to see an Abyssal coming out from Medusa, just so they can lock down the Spectre and Templar Assassin alone if they ever get into a man fight. There's no way that those heroes are going to win, also giving them a lot of punching power when it comes to the split shot, even though the 10% bash is kind of negligible. You don't need it when you have that active. I don't know, probably not going to be his choice. I'm interested to see what it is going to be, because he could go for literally anything. Up and top, Goldblack forced to TP out, no way to cancel that. He'll be able to make it out alive, and on cooldown does a lot of damage to the Venomancer, but other than that, doesn't accomplish anything for Hellraisers.
Okay, so we got the good to go onto Twitch, so I'm gonna start the stream on there. So at least for the second, potentially the third game as well, we're gonna actually have a stream running, guys. So good news there. But looking at this game, VP.Polar, they definitely didn't, I think, make the best advantage of the situation that they were in. Maybe they were a little bit too wary there. Now the Daedalus finished the Medusa, another 4.2k on top of that. So it's definitely gonna have buyback boots or travels just in if need be.
Oh yeah.
And looking at the buyback status overall, nobody on the dire side has it. So if they win a fight at the moment, which they might, blink Thunderclap onto Quista, he's just gonna Spectral Dagger away over the high ground.
Radiant's mid tower's coming apart.
But they want Drax, they want blood.
Yeah, and I think they can go for it. Like, Illidan can just
Dire's
throw
top
himself.
tower's
Last
getting
fight,
beat.
they
Radiant's mid
barely
tower's
got through that
getting
Aegis. They had to throw
for.
pretty much everything at him. We are going to have a disconnect from the Earthshaker. Oh, he should be back here very quickly. But yeah, hopefully we do have a stream running for game number 2. This will be uploaded as a local recording if you are following us here on the in-game ticket. But yeah, Medusa just casually buying a full Daedalus. Does have 4,000 reliable gold, so buyback is not an issue at all. And at this point, you can consider going for those 7-slotted shenanigans with your Medusa. But I don't think that VP.Polar are going to take that or this game that long. It's an unnecessary risk for them. Templar Assassin now with a crit is going to be dishing to the other heroes, but Medusa is still just going to be a huge thorn in the side of Hellraisers. With the mana shield up, her effective HP is going to be through the roof, probably nearing 5,000, with 27 armor, as well as a buyback Boots of Travel in to back that up. It's pretty ridiculous.
Fortunately, or hopefully for us at least, Earthshaker will reconnect fast enough. I mean, I guess this game didn't have too many issues to begin with. Start was a little bit late, but other than that, has gone flawlessly almost. But do you think Hellraisers, can they defend this, or what's their best plan here? Is it just send red, Nature Prophet to rat even more, maybe get another set of racks on another lane now, or because fighting for them just
so
hasn't had any results?
Yeah, especially the way that VP.Pro are positioned. You have Magnus as well as Brewmaster very deep in the back lines. Goldblack's kind of close to the Medusa, but Illidan just stands on the high ground, not giving any cares in the world, and takes down the tier 3 tower. There's not an opening for Artstyle to get the jump from the Echo Slam, which is really one of Hellraiser's best teamfight tools, and honestly their only great AoE lockdown, and they're just not able to find an opening to utilize it. We do now have buyback on the Spectre as well as Templar Assassin, and a reconnect from Artstyle, so this game is going to continue through. Hellraisers, they are going to have to hope that VP.Polar mess up in a pretty major fashion. With the Daedalus on the Medusa, the damage coming out from Illidan is ridiculous. Even without Empower, it's going to be just a casual 300 base damage plus crits, as well as the cleave coming out from a split shot, and then you're going to add Empower to it, which is another 104 damage.
Oh, maybe they will mess up in a big way, but at least Medusa has buyback, and that's really all that matters for VP.Pro at the moment. And so far, Hellraisers, they've been unable to really focus on Scandal. They've tried a couple of times, just go for Scandal just to make sure there's no good reverse polarity. But by now, even Juggernaut actually has a pretty decent amount of farm. Plus having the Blade Fury and the Omnislash gives him a pretty decent time of just invulnerability, almost. Physical damage can still wreck him in the Blade Fury, yes. But so far he's used the Omnislash at opportune times for himself, just to make sure that he creates enough chaos in the fights. Hellraiser still not ready to unpause, but I think we're gonna see like maximum of 3 extra minutes of game time.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's anticlimactic to see that, and I don't know. There's always the off chance that Hellraisers pull something together miraculously, but right now, Templar Assassin is ferrying out a TP scroll. She's not going to be back into this fight for a long time. That 5 seconds is probably enough for them to take the tier 3 tower, and maybe even more. Hellraisers need everybody to even have a hope of taking this engagement.
By the way, I'm not too sure if you've even taken a look at the graphs, but oh, never mind, we don't even get the chances. The game's unpaused. Illidan, of course, just a crazy tank with the mana shield, 1.7k mana as well. Do they still have the gem? They actually don't, but it's not like they really need it for anything.
Build into the high ground. This is the time that Hellraisers need to stop this Medusa, and they're not able to do so. Tier 3 tower goes down without a fuss. They drop a Fisher as well as a Mystic Flare onto Illidan. He's dropping pretty low as well as the extra time committed. They're getting through his mana pool pretty effectively, and now they're trying to chase him down, jumping through Brewmaster as well as Magnus. BKB looking for an RP, finds it onto Quicksta, and Quicksta is going to be dropped down by Illidan. The Dispersion as well as Radiance is dropping Illidan fairly low, but Illidan's going to survive. Buyback from Spectre. Illidan needs to get out to safety. Force Staff is going to secure his boots. Travel, no! TP in from Nature's Prophet. He's going to be able to get the Hex and kill off Medusa, probably forcing out a buyback, now killing off DK Phobos. Or rather, DK Phobos killing off inside the base, the supports, but Scandal is being dropped by Dread as well as Quista in the meantime. It's a 4-for-2 trade after a really good Hex coming up from the Nature's Prophet. Medusa was so close to getting back to base. In fact, that Force Staff might have killed her, as I'm not sure the Nature's Prophet would have been in range for that Hex had he not dropped the Force Staff. Buyback is forced out by the Medusas, and mid, they're middle barracks is pretty much in complete breach. With the buyback from Medusa, Quicksta as well as the Templar Assassin are completely forced away. But still a fairly even exchange after all is said and done. A lot of gold being lost by this Medusa, but at this point, it doesn't matter at all because Medusa is completely 6-slotted. Both teams dropping pretty much everything they have and come away fairly even. Hellraisers are going to be very happy with that last exchange, as they're the ones to get the benefit from that extra gold as well as experience.
One more fight like that, one more time when they get the jump onto Medusa, and that's something that might be game, just because one lane is already pushing in for them. They have Nature's Prophet, and like we saw, Spectre came in as well with just a Haunt now. And Templar Assassin, I don't think he was even a part of the top fight. He was just pushing in mid lane the whole time, right? Because doesn't have boots of travels or anything, so that fight was excellent, of course. Illidan felt a little bit too confident in himself, and like we saw, no huge reverse polarity and no win for the team fight. They killed off Spectre, yes, but he just had buyback anyway. So, huge win for Hellraisers if you ask me. Buyback-wise, Templar Assassin, the only one to have it together with the Magnus. On cooldown for Spectre as well as the Nature's Prophet still. And Medusa, man. Can they? Is Roshan up? No, it's not up for at least 2 minutes yet. And even if they get Rosh, does Medusa pick up the Asian? I mean, he kind of has to, but what item will he drop for it then?
I don't know. Yeah, I really don't. Potentially he passes off his Boots of Travel to somebody else. Maybe he passes the Manta style off to one of his supports in place of that Aegis. Yeah, what's his movement speed without the Boots of Travel? It's very slow. Medusa is a hero that really needs that extra movement speed from Boots in order to be effective inside the team fights. Yeah, I'm honestly not sure. I think you get rid of the Manta style. You don't sell it, but you just pass it off to the likes of the Venomancer. I
would think so as well. Manta style probably doesn't really need the illusions, doesn't have the need to kind of dispel anything with the Manta really. Maybe get rid of a Psionic Trap slow or something, but probably won't make any difference. So Hellraisers, do they go for a fight now? I mean, it's not like they have to wait for huge ultimates. Haunt definitely going to be beneficial for you to go. Not only does it just do some extra damage to the enemies, but of course disable the Blink Daggers. And we've seen that Magnus, in the last fight as well, he's just tried to skewer in just because the Blink got disabled by the Radiance for a little while. So Magnus, he needs to find another great RP for VP.Polar to just get a decisive fight. when there are no buybacks on Hellraisers, but of course the same applies to Hellraisers. Just this late into the game already, buybacks mean everything.
Yeah, and I think that's going to delay this game, as the Spectre and the Medusa both spent their buybacks in the last fight, so they're not going to be inclined to be taking engagements. Urbanishka, with the double damage rune, is going to wear off, and the refraction completely taken away by Medusa's split shot, but maybe VP.Polar are going to be the ones to make a move. Illidan and company are currently in mid, and they find themselves Gwista going to split on top of the Spectre, looking for the Spectral Dagger over the trees. Force Staff is going to keep him pretty safe, and he's going to look for the TP out. Will he be able to make it out successfully? Looking for the Cyclone, is not going to be there, as the Storm Panda is just a little bit too far away, and the TP's away are going to keep Hellraisers safe. At this point in the game, Brewmaster Split isn't the most impactful ultimate to be spending, but it's still a little bit something. VP.Polar are actually just going to fully commit. They kill off one of the huts and now go up towards top lane. Now Razors are in a great position to take this engagement. They don't have a hunt. Then maybe this is the opening of VP.Polar we're looking for. The Glyph is going to delay this push onto the melee barracks, and Illidan's forced back on the back lane. Scandal's going to turn into a pick by Dread, but Dread now being focused down by the split shots. RP going to be solo on Urbanishka, as well as the Omni Slash, but it's going to be tanked by creeps, as well as by the Refraction, doing literally no damage. Gwista, however, is going to be dropped by Illidan. Now Urbanishka is also going to fall. Triple kill for the Medusa on the back line. Tenacious Prophet's able to clean up the Magnus, but it doesn't matter, as now Artstyle and Dread need to get out of here. Buyback from the Templar Assassin is the only one that Hellraisers have to spend, and I think that VP.Polar are going to be happy with what they got and then back out, and they'll be able to do so. Medusa surviving is crucial there.
I can't actually believe that Dread survived. He TP'd in so aggressively to the back lines. Here, he got the Hex onto Magnus straight away, got in a few right clicks. The Fisher, I think, saved him in the sense that he was on the right side, at least from his perspective. But they get the stun onto Goblik, enchant Dota to follow up with the stuns, and well, I don't think really that Goblik need be there and just die like that. But Medusa survived somehow. He took a crap ton of damage anyway, but they made it. And just when Manta Style was activated, actually Medusa, he wrecked everybody. Without the Manta Style, I think the heroes would have stayed alive for a couple of seconds longer, maybe bring down Medusa with them. But I guess Manta Style can have its uses.
Oh, it's definitely very useful. You can look for those pro Manta dodges. There's not anything huge to dodge. Maybe if you're really lucky, you can dodge like the stun from Echo Slam or something like that. I don't know. But it's mostly just the split shot coming out from those illusions. Working with 200 base damage, those illusions do quite a lot of work. Yeah, it's pretty balanced. I don't know. It's something. That's going to be 100 damage additional to Illidan's already crazy base stats, and that's going to be split between everybody. It's something you don't really want to pass up, but I think if you're able to get the Aegis, it's still the item to replace, but in that last team fight, it's crucial for VP.Polar taking it.
Oh, it most certainly is. And looking at the graphs, the gold lead, 10k in the favor of VP.Polar XP, about 9,000 for Hellraisers instead. So, kind of a funny situation, really. Just one team holding the advantage in one field, the other one. But Urbanishka has a Daedalus finished, even has a double damage at the moment. It's of course gonna expire anyway. And oh, Rapier Medusa time! Did he?
Yep.
What did he give away for that?
Actually, I'm not entirely sure.
What? Oh, Mjolnir, okay.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so that makes sense. I think if you're going to just go for the YOLO Rapier, it's probably the best way to do so. If you looked at the advantage that VP.Polar had, it was completely in the bank of the Medusas. So that actually doesn't mean anything, and if anything, Hellraisers have a bit of an advantage, but now with the Rapier on Medusa, this is go time for Virtus.Pro. They're not getting any stronger ever, but right now, that Medusa's damage is ridiculous, and Hellraisers, I'm not sure they can actually fight into this. Right now, it's going to be the melee barracks at the very least being focused down. Actually, Illidan destroys one of the huts. Tenacious Prophet with an Aegis is going to be annoying, but Illidan completely mops the creep wave up as well as the melee barracks, and now focusing towards the range. It looks like Virtus.Pro want to go for the Jugular now, potentially going to back off after getting one lane of barracks, and they will do so. It's a Roshan for a full lane of barracks. Not worth it for Hellraisers. I'm not sure if they knew about the Divine Rapier in time. Once you kind of see a Divine Medusa inside your base, there's very little you can actually do to stop that push.
I think it's the smart choice as well from VP.Polar to back off. I mean, this is a cheese and Aegis after all on Hellraisers. Plus, you got the Rex. No need to really force the issue. You would have had to go across the entire base to get to the next set of Rex. So smart choice. They can maybe even wait out the 5 minutes. Don't think Hellraisers should give them the time to just wait out the Aegis, but Up against Rapier Medusa, you really don't want to force the issue yourself. And going high ground against Magnus is usually something that's, so hard to do no matter how far ahead you are. And so far, they're not even ahead. Looking at the net worths, 38,000 on Medusa, and he's surpassing the next highest by 17,000. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it doesn't actually matter at this point, but it's still crazy to see. It's all the VP.Polar really need. As nice as a refresher would be on Magnus, potentially, I don't know, Brewmaster getting an Assault Cuirass or something along those legs, it's all about Illidan. If he survives inside the teamfights, the amount of damage that he's pumping out is ridiculous. Critting for almost 1,400, as well as throwing a very casual 773 split shot damage. How many shots per second? About 2? It's a ridiculous amount of DPS.
Hellraisers, they have to thank God that I think they themselves banned out the Ogre. If Illidan had Ogre support here as well, this game would be just over already. The Ogre match with the Bloodlust, it would be so ridiculous, just like almost 3 right clicks per second, a little bit less of course, but close enough to it. But Urbanishka, they want to get the jump onto somebody. In the backline, Quista, he already went in, the Primal Split comes out. Urbanishka, he's gonna get stone gazed up Illidan. He doesn't have vision yet because the gem is too far away, but they're gonna go for Quista first melt. It does nothing to Medusa at all. Spectre, he goes down, he has buyback though. He's gonna use it, will haunt back in Illidan. He's actually dropping low on mana. If he goes down, it might all be over. He does die. He has buyback, but Rapier, it's on the ground. Quista, he's gonna pick it up, but he's gonna lose his life to Goldblack. Goldblack, come on, drop an item, pick up the Rapier, you can do it. Medusa is gonna come back. The Courier, they want to secure it. Aegis Dread, they're just gonna let Dread pick it up. What? He's gonna go down anyway, so makes little difference. Rapier on the ground again. What the hell is this, man?
I don't know, at this point it's just Rapier juggling and VP.Polar are the ones to come out on top. Roshan is not available and they don't have to care about it. The Spectre as well as Templar Assassin have no buyback. And Hellraisers at this point, it's so unlikely that they're going to be able to take a fight. The Earthshaker's Blink Dagger was cancelled, Echo slams the ground, he hits like a couple of units, but no heroes, and although Illidan falls, it actually didn't matter. Illidan had a gold to buy back and potentially go for another Rapier, but they're going for the Juggler, and I don't think there's anything Hellraisers can do to stop this. With no Echo Slam in the Earthshaker, there's not even a hope. He will jump in, look for the jump onto Goldblack, but he's just ripped to shreds. Ghost Scepter comes out too late in the skewer to get the kill. Now focusing on the Ancient as VP.Polar rightfully should. They're going to be able to take this game number 1, although Hellraisers put up a hell of a show.
Oh man, what a great game this was, man. I hope you got the local recording because it's going to be an awesome game to just rewatch if need be. And to win that last fight, with the Empower, even Juggernaut did quite a lot of damage. 300 plus per right click, getting the cleave as well. And of course the built-in crits. So even the Juggernaut was a crucial part in that fight. But look at the GPM, 912 on Medusa. He just completely out-farmed everybody. As to be expected, 651 last hits. But guys, this was only game number 1 in a best of 3 series. So we're going to head into game number 2 now. Hope this time around you're going to actually see it on stream as well since we have moved over to Twitch. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in and just being patient with us with the ESFX platform. But now we're heading into game number 2. Hopefully it's going to be just as exciting as this. So see you there.